We all know about commander cycles, and after some time when there is a new commander, most likely in a few months there will be new ones in the game, and more often than not, those latest ones are going to be stronger than the previous commanders. So what happens is, especially for free-to-play and low-spender players, a new commander is released and you take a look at it, it's so strong, you really like it, so you decide to summon it and start investing sculptures. But pretty much the moment you get it expertise, before you can even fully enjoy that commander that you spend your weeks or months to get that level, now there are a new pair of commanders and they are better than what you already have or what you worked on. And this could be really frustrating and makes players feel like they are on a never-ending hamster wheel. So today I'm going to give you guys two options to how to get out of that wheel, and of course this is just based on my experience and my knowledge, and if you have different ideas or point of views regarding how to escape that wheel, as always let me know in the comment section down below. Now we are going to start with option number one, but I must say that for the majority of people it is not going to be the most convenient way. Without further ado, let's go.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Alright, the less convenient way, option number one. So in Rise of Kingdoms, the commander release cycle usually goes like cavalry, infantry, archers, and then most likely they're gonna throw some, I don't know, leadership or range commanders into the mix, and then it's going to, like, the cycle is going to get reset, and again it will go like cavalry, infantry, archers. Now as players we always want to have, of course, the absolute best commanders, and usually what you need to do to achieve that is focusing on every single troop type, basically not maining a troop type. Because here's the thing, if you look at the best match from each troop type and compare those pairings to the second best match from every single troop type, you are going to see a massive difference. Right now the best archer match is hands down Zhuge Liang and Herman, best cavalry is still probably Nevsky and Joan, and again best infantry, Prime CPO paired with Liu Che. These are the best pairings that you can use at this moment in Rise of Kingdoms from all three troop types. Now without breaking these pairings, if we also add the second best match from each troop type a row below, for archers it could be Boudica, Ashurbanipal or Boudica, Artemisia, whatever. For cavalry it's going to be Ho Chubing and William. For infantry, let's say you can go for Guan Sargon. Now when you look at all these six pairings, you are going to see a pattern. Regardless of the troop type, each best march, the number one march, is going to be better than any of the marches that are in the second row, aka the second best marches from each troop type. And since that's the case, if you want to play with the best of the best in Rise of Kingdoms, what you do is you basically, quote-unquote, do not main a troop type, you go for all three troop types to have the best commanders in the game available. But basically that is what creates the hamster wheel in the first place. Because if you focus on all three troop types, the duration between commander releases are going to be so short that, let's say, once you max the latest cavalry, especially if you are free to play low spender, you certainly will not have enough sculptures to expertise the latest infantry commander that is going to be released after cavalry. And if somehow, even if somehow you do have those sculptures to expertise the infantry one as well, you will most certainly won't have enough sculptures to expertise the archer commander that's going to be released right after infantry. And this basically what puts you into that never-ending wheel. And that's why the option number one, the less convenient way, is only caring about commanders from one troop type. Because what happens then is that the duration between the releases of the latest generation commanders and the next one is going to be extremely long. Let's say you only care about archers and you max Boudica to pair with your YSG, and if you are a low spender, mid spender or a very dedicated free to play, most likely you would have enough sculptures to max your Zhuge Liang as well even after you maxed your Boudica, because the time between the release of Boudica and the release of Zhuge Liang is pretty big. Or after maxing Zhuge Liang, you would have enough sculptures to again max your Herman Prime, or at least get him to a usable spot until you collect enough sculptures to expertise him as well. So let's say between Boudica, Zhuge Liang and Herman, since we only did care about archers, we didn't even need to look at Ho Chubing, we didn't even need to look at Liu Che, because as I said, archers are the only troop type and archer commanders are the only ones that we are looking to expertise. And this approach when it comes to investing on commanders in Rise of Kingdoms gives you a massive breathing room. But as you can tell by now, the reason why I said it is the less convenient way for majority of players is that the strongest marcher, since you are only caring about one troop type, this means your murder ball on paper is going to be weaker than the others because you are not investing the best infantry march or you are not investing the best cavalry march, which are a lot stronger than your secondary, especially your third or fourth archer march. But nevertheless, this is a way to get out of that hamster wheel. Now, option number 2, it is the more convenient way, and I think this approach would work better for most people. And basically what we are going to do is, instead of looking at commanders one by one from each troop type, let's take a look at the infantry. I was using Guan Yu primary and Scipio prime secondary. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on my Liu Che. Now, the way I approached this upgrade wasn't just comparing Guan Yu to Liu Che and decide which one is better. If Liu Che is better, I'm just going to invest on him. No. The way I did it was looking at my murder ball as a whole and determine what it is lacking. And my murder ball, Burikawa SG, Guan Scipio, Nevsky John and Ho Chu Bing William was certainly not lacking damage, but it was lacking tankiness. And on paper, Liu Che is better than Guan Yu when you just compare them to each other, but Liu Che also brings to the table the tankiness that my murder ball is missing. With the defense bonus, with the march speed bonus and taking less skill damage, by substituting Liu Che for Guan Yu, I'm also boosting what is mostly lacking in my murder ball. If we go to archers, your current archer march could be, let's say, Zhuge Liang, you didn't invest on Burika with YSG. And now they released Herman Prime. When you compare Herman Prime to YSG, obviously Herman is better. However, if you're a free-to-play or low spender, is it enough for you to start working on Herman and just benching YSG? No, you need to look at your murder ball, and if, let's say, your marches from other troop types are just like Zhuge Liang and YSG, meaning that they deal a lot of damage, however, your murder ball is missing massive debuffs, and then in that case, you will definitely want to invest on Herman, because this way, you are not only benching your YSG for a much better commander, but you are also putting on the table what your murder ball is lacking as a whole. For this specific example, our murder ball was lacking debuffs, so what we did is, we got rid of a commander that only deals damage, and we basically replaced him with a commander that is already better than the current one, dealing similar amount of damage, but also bringing to the table what our murder ball is lacking, which is debuffs. Or a cavalry example would have been like this. Let's say you're running 2 cavalry marches, I don't know, Nevsky, Mina, Justinian, and Saladin. Like just random commanders. But what they have in common is that all of them are dealing heavy single target damage. This means what you are lacking on your murder ball is some solid AoE. And in that case, as a free-to-play and low spender, I wouldn't invest on Ho Chu Bing, but I would invest on Joan of Arc, even though Ho Chu Bing is the latest one, and on paper, if you just compare Joan of Arc to Ho Chu Bing in my opinion is better. However, since AoE is what's lacking on your murder ball as a whole, I would go with Joan of Arc instead of going ahead and just maxing another heavy single target damage commander. And this will be another option, another way to get out of that hamster wheel. Even though the latest commanders most of the time will be the greatest, however, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to chase every single one of them and try to get absolute best match from each troop type always, all the time. You don't need to chase that. What you need to do overall is looking at the latest release commanders and just ask yourself, is this commander better than what I already have? Most of the time it will. However, there is one more question that you need to ask. Is this commander boosting or elevating anything in my murder ball that I'm missing? And then if the answer is yes to that question as well, then that commander investment is probably going to be worth it for your account. And speaking of commanders, here's my 2024 Rise of Kingdoms commander tier list. Make sure to tap on it, and I see you there.